The new Vitures present some exciting things for the future of VR, XR, that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about the promise, the price, and the problem. You see what I did there? I used alliteration. Alliteration is a list of things using the first same consonant in each. So let's start with the promise. The new range is called Luma. You've got Luma Pro, and you've got Luma Ultra. The Ultra is really where this future promise comes in. With 2 side cameras and a center depth of field camera, they're touting it as having both the 6 DOF, the 6 depth of field, which is virtual reality awareness, as well as hand gesture capability. Now that is something that was used on the Apple Vision Pro. So that is an interesting promise that they're making. As far as I can work out, these hand gestures are limited to their neckband, their Android-based neckband that is exclusive to them. But this is an exciting promise given the fact that Android are working on Android XR. The less certain but more exciting promise I find is that if they start to partner with game developers, this whole concept of this 6 depth of field can start to become a reality in virtual reality. So we'll be able to use these glasses in virtual reality games. Now, that is a long shot. I don't know if that will ever come to fruition, but it is a very, very exciting promise. This is limited to the most expensive version, the Luma Ultras, but you'll be getting some of the best visuals in a set of wearables, plus using that within a VR environment. So that, that's why I say it's a very exciting promise. Whether it comes to fruition, that's another question. Now, to be promising that this is going to work in VR environments and we're going to, make it this exclusive neckband and all that kind of thing, it is very exciting, but will it actually come to fruition? I do feel like possibly the neckband thing, especially Android is working on something in this arena. If you can just use the stock Android stuff on the neckband, that might end up being quite a cool experience. So at the very least, you're getting a very high quality XR pair of glasses with a very strong promise for the future. So let's get into the price and what you get for that price. So the original Vitures are now more expensive than the Lumas. The Lumas are $399, and I think these originals are now going for $450 or something like that. So the basic version, the ones I have here on my desk, are the Pros. So we'll talk about the Pros now. But this basic Luma version, it's a mixture of old and new. So it is $399, so that's great. And it's got the new translucent design, which you've seen a bunch of footage already on the screen of this beautiful new design, which has got a more comfortable fit and grip. It has a 50-degree field of view. The older one, I think, had about a 48-degree field of view. It has the USB-C connection, not the magnetic connection that you find on the Pro and the Ultra, which when I was looking at it previously with the original Vitures, I thought to myself, a USB-C connection isn't that bad. So just USB-C goes in the end here. That's kind of nice. The magnetic thing kind of bothers me sometimes because even with this rubber thingy here, I still get my long hair caught in that magnet. So, the USB-C is not the end of the world. So I wouldn't say that is a huge negative. And notably, the Luma comes with a -6 diopter adjustment for myopia, which is the best in the whole range. The original, I think, has -5 diopter adjustment. And the Pros only have -4. They had to make way for other things in this because it's better in other ways. So if you specifically know that you're within the -6 diopter for near vision, that might be a cool thing for you because then you don't have to get the script insert. So that might be a big deal for you. That might be the reason to buy the cheapest version. Okay, but it has, I'm not sure if it's the same screen, but it is similar screen specs. It's got a 1200p screen in the cheaper version. So you're getting like the better 50% sharpness that they're promising with this. You're getting a lot for your money with that, the cheaper one, which is actually even cheaper than the old Vitures. So very well priced. well priced. I mean, $400 is still a lot of money. Then we've got the Luma Pro, which is the one that I am testing. It's a fairly big bump in the quality of the screen and all that, and the usability compared to the original. And this is going to be $499, so it's a fair chunk of change. This one comes with a claimed 50% sharper image. So does the cheaper one. So the pros come with a 52% degree field of view. It's not a huge jump from the lower spec one. And they told me that the reason the diopter adjustment is lower because it's a much wider field of view and a better quality screen, but it isn't. So that's interesting. This comes with the magnetic connection with the cable, which is pretty cool. It has the funky lights on the side, which I really like. It's just like pointless fun. Like it means nothing and just looks cool. So that, that just shows passion for what they're making. And then it does have this front camera. So it has a single, what they call a 3D OF. So it's giving you depth of field features in VR, I'm guessing. I'm still not 100% certain on what this means. What I am hoping, the thing that I was hoping specifically for with an upgrade of these is a contrast detection so that they can anchor the screen in productivity mode. So one of the biggest downfalls of this is I stopped using it for productivity because the app for Windows is nice. It's got some cool features, but the screen drifts incredibly badly. And so the software has not been updated yet. And I've been testing this for productivity and the screen just moves around, and it's so annoying. So I really hope that they've said after launch it will be implemented, and I really hope there's a software update so that I can share on my social media for you that has been improved, because that for me is one of the biggest things. And then you've got the Ultras. Now the Ultras do bring that big promise. The Ultras have a brighter screen, so they've improved on brightness. Now I'm not sure why this is really a selling point. It's obviously just happened in development because this screen is already effing bright. It's very, very bright. So to have needed brighter, I don't know why you would need it brighter. Are people using this in broad daylight? I don't know, because it just seems excessively bright to me. The Ultra will have the 3 cameras. So I'll just show you some stuff that they've sent me. So on the temple area here, you're going to have 2 cameras, which are going to give you like spatial awareness in VR gaming. So it's going to pick up on, complex movements within a space. And I think the big thing here now, so this is where I think they are pretty serious about this, is it comes with hand gestures that specifically with the neckband. So they have mentioned a couple of times in the marketing stuff that in the neckband, there's going to be hand gestures. Now, I think it's going to be relegated to the neckband only, but they've also included a mic. So I think this is going to end up becoming quite a ultimate productivity tool if they can implement all these features into something that actually works. Now, my worry is that if the features for the neckband only work through their Spacewalker app, then I think we're in for trouble, because their track record of over a year barely developing the app and now saying suddenly there's going to be these incredible features, I think that is a sketchy thing to bet your money on. But if, like I mentioned, if we can use the Android development, the stock Android XR development that they're busy working on, I think if we can use these with that, where if it can be compatible with that I think is going to be very exciting. So watch the space. Unfortunately, they didn't send me their Ultras, but I will definitely be keeping an eye on that, because that's such an exciting technological thing to see happen in this space of tech. And then they asked me to tease this, and I'll tease this because it is pretty exciting, is they have the Beast coming. Again, this launch is very complicated, and you've got to keep your wits about you, and I will talk about what is for who and all that sort of thing. But the Beast has no diopter adjustment, but it comes with a 58-degree field of view. It has dynamic color control, so when you are looking around, it is going to control the color according to your space. So I think they're starting to think, okay, if this person is moving through space with the glasses, it's going to adjust for that. So, moving around an office, walking with it, I don't know. Let's see. It has a metal design. It also has a microphone, and it has another big thing they're touting with the Beast is it has on the fly. So within the buttons, you're going to be able to switch between vertical screen mode, and you're going to be able to switch between all those productivity modes. So the Beast definitely is going to end up being the ultimate productivity tool in their lineup. And they're promising 3D sound. Now, I don't know what that's... I mean, surround sound was fun, but it didn't last. I don't know what depth of field sound is going to be. Watch that space. I feel like it's just a marketing trick. But it is cheaper than the Ultras. So you're not getting that 6 depth of field. You're not getting the VR hand gesture thing with the Beast, but you are getting a bigger, better screen and like an incredible multimedia and productivity experience with the Beast. So it is going to be probably a lot better than these if you want like the ultimate XR experience. Now, I've mentioned a few times now the myopia adjustment. So the original Vitures, I think, have the -5 diopter myopia adjustment. The lower spec Lumas have a -6. That is actually the one I would have enjoyed personally because that would have worked within my script range. Then you've got the -4, which, it's a very minor adjustment. What the -4 really allows you to do is, my wife has actually made some contact lenses, which I've been using for testing these so that I can just put them on my face and use them as a person would use them. And then the -4 allows you to adjust within that script that you've now created. On top of that, they have now allowed for this script insert. And so I will share on my social media because they're sending it to me. I'm going to put my script in there, the same script that I've got in the contacts. I'm going to put it in there. And it's going to be quite nice for me personally. It will make these a very practical personal use item because with the script thing is a big deal to me because my eyes are getting worse as I get older and I do have a reading script. And so with these OG Vitures, what I will say is I have been using them personally very often. And what I will often do is I will put my glasses on and just put them over. So I think that says a lot for the quality of the screen and just how nice this is to use as a discrete multimedia consumption tool. Now, that script insert, I'm going on about this because I think it is a bigger feature than they realize. Like, I think they played down the whole script insert thing in the last range of glasses. I'm not sure if their script insert was very good or if they pretended like it didn't exist, or maybe it didn't exist and they said it exists. I don't know. But now it is here. It is magnetic and it's going to be very easy for me to use. And it's going to make these super practical for me and possibly end up in my workflow for productivity. So they do have it. You can send your script to them. What I will note is that it is not your normal reading script. We push my script up quite a bit, like 2 or 3 increments higher, because what you're actually looking at is here. So the screen is reflecting up. So the screens are up here and there's a mirror. And so what you're actually looking at is about this close to your face. And so you need a pretty strong script to see that close to your face. So let's talk a little bit about the hardware before we hit the final P, which is the problem. We're going to talk about the body design. This is where I really believe they've taken strides with the hardware over the older ones. They've now got pantoscopic adjustments, so you can tilt this. Now, this can either be, if your face is really, really skew, you can sort of just tilt it that way. But really what it's helped me with is to move the screen up and down. So you've got 3 settings. You've got the middle setting. Whoops. There's the middle setting. And then you can go up 1 or you can go down 1. And what that will do is it'll move the screen up and down. And now, obviously, this translucent design is really nice. It's got these beautiful lights, which look great on it. It also has the flexible hinge. So it's got flexible that way. Plus, they've implement this new rubber design here. What this does is it makes it very comfortable on the ends of your face. So when you put it on, this part here, you're not getting a lot of like hard pressure there. So for longer periods of use, that's why I say I think these might end up actually becoming part of my productivity. Because when you use it for productivity, you end up sitting like this. And, you like your mouse and whatever, and you sit like this, and it's really good for your posture. And then you look around at the screens like this. So to have it more comfortable for longer periods is great. It has the magnetic nose pad system. So now, instead of, it was quite difficult to do this in the past. Now you just, there, and then it just magnetizes in. Now the screen, although the first one was great at 1080p, this new 1200p 4K-like screen is excellent. It is seemingly bigger. It's got a wider field of view, and they say 50% sharper. I don't know if that's true. It's definitely sharper. Now, what I will say is that edge to edge, no matter what they say, it's not going to be clear edge to edge. It's very difficult to get that full screen in your field of view. You've got to work with the nose pads and get that in your visual frame, like to actually see it so that there's no vignetting or whatever. So that's already a bit of work to do, but you're never going to get it where here is your like sort of tunnel vision here. That's your most in focus part. And the further you go out, the less and less crisp it gets. But the 50%, as they say, sharpness, improved sharpness does help with that. So I would say that your peripheral vision is worse on the older model. And like I mentioned, they say that the Ultra screen is even brighter than the Pro. Now, this thing is flipping bright. I don't know why you would want anything brighter than this. Going brighter almost seems bad for your eyes. So I'm not sure what the purpose is there. Maybe they have something up their sleeve. But anyway, if you get the cheapest version or whatever, they're all very, very bright. So when I first started, I was pretty impressed with the original Vitures. I know another reviewer, a friend of mine, was like, the audio's rubbish. It's because there's not a lot of bass response. But in terms of, so here's my theory behind, especially, okay, these are the OGs, especially something that is projecting audio from here. There's a little slits in here and it sends audio down to your ear. When you're not using in-ears, where you're not using earbuds that are actually going into your ear, the problem with getting very bassy is that bass is going to spread to the people around you. So even though it's very crisp, very tinny, it is conducive to personal, discrete use. Now, this audio is definitely better on the new Luma range. Definitely much better audio. It is more whole sounding. It's not as tinny as the Vitures, as the old Vitures. But would I use it for music? Would I sit, and play some music from Spotify? No, they are still too thin for that. Okay, now the buttons. This is where they have put quite a bit of effort into making it a better. And when I say a bit of an effort, they've just put some effort in. The function button on the right, one press makes the lenses. One press will do that electrochromic effect where the lenses go darker and not dark anymore, so transparent. Double press it to switch the lighting effect off on the left. So, maybe you're in a very dark airplane or something and you don't want that to be flashing all the time, then you can just switch it off by double pressing there. This button on the left, a single press switches between volume and brightness. Double press allows you to set the white balance. So they've made sure that the double press is for things that you're not going to use very, very often. I will note here, this is where you do notice a slight cheapness compared to the original Vitures. The original Vitures, the plastic was very nicely finished off. This plastic is not. There's just noticeable burrs on some of the plastic, which is just a thing in the factory. They just didn't finish off the plastic very nicely. They just did. And so the plastic on this actually feels far more premium than the plastic on the new Lumas. And then to carry on comparing these two, you will notice that they are visibly bigger, the new ones. Then you will notice on the inside, there you'll see this housing here. These new ones have got a plastic housing around the lens and the screen. Whereas here, we had a piece of glass and just, dust could just get in here. And what I've also noticed is that the new ones are far less reflective. There's way less reflections when you are watching something. They just have sorted that out significantly. The new temples are just way, way better. This new temple design with the rubbery end, these are not flexible. The old ones are not flexible at all. This rubbery end and this tilt adjustment, that is a big deal. I'm just trying to weigh up, is the upgrade worth it? And it is. They have improved on almost every single thing. And then, like I said, there's a promise of things to the future, but we'll get to that later. And then just to quickly jump on this, they have sweetened the deal with a bunch of things. Now, they love their marketing, so they said this is a world first. It is a controller. It's a world first because it has an output for your VR, your XR glasses. So you can use this, which it does. So these little things actually do have a pretty big effect on your daily life. So this could be a wonderful streaming thing if you have XR glasses. Like I think I might have even made a separate video where I took the Retro Pocket Mini and I used that as a tiny streaming handheld with XR glasses. So I had this huge screen with a tiny little handheld. This is kind of the same thing. You can put your phone in there and off you go to the races with a really nice gaming device. And if you've got Game Pass with cloud gaming and all that sort of thing, this could be really nice for travel. You just pop your phone in there and off you go. And the other thing is, it's beautiful. It's got the lovely translucent plastic that they've been going with. And this is just a very, very, if you're into these telescopic controllers. Okay, so they've got that. And the thing that I really wanted, haven't really been using it that much yet, but this is mostly geared towards Switch 2 people. So if you end up, maybe you bought the old Vitures, you buy the new ones, and now you can play 2-player games with Switch. So this is a dock for the Switch. You'll see they've put the Switch colors there. And you can put your 2 sets of glasses in there. You can even do HDMI input here, and then off you go. You just can game with this thing, and it's got a bit of battery power to it. It's a pretty decent little power bank. What I, in effect, am going to use this for is if I find a really cool movie and I just want my wife and I to have this like audio visual experience, I'm going to plug this in to the 2 Vitures. We're going to lie in bed and watch, like maybe when Superman comes out on streaming, I'm just going to sit and play it for my wife and I on Superman and say, you have to watch this movie with me. So that's, very nice to kind of turn this whole XR glasses thing into something social, where you can sit and ignore each other for an hour. Okay, so let's talk about the problem. And a real symptom here is, and a thing that is cause for concern, is the Spacewalker app. This is their app that allows you to interact with the world and use the 3D features, and it's supposed to unlock features of these glasses. Is that it just hasn't improved in a year. It doesn't really do anything special. It allows you to update the firmware and use it as a trackpad, but I find that it's actually causing more problems on my Android phone, and that I would rather just use Samsung DeX and then rather just use that for productivity. On the Windows side, the Spacewalker app is also quite frustrating. I find it very buggy. I find I have to restart it very often. The feature set is rich. There's this feature where if you look down, the electrochromic thing switches on, so your glasses become clear. So you have your script in your eyes. They go clear, so now you can use your script to interact with the world around you and then go back to working. Very nice features. It also allows you to have maybe a panoramic screen or 3 separate screens. It gives you a lot of stuff to use in your productivity life, but it is just very buggy. And that brings me on to my other major problem that I've experienced with this, that it doesn't allow you to actually use it. This, I think, is a fantastic productivity tool. I think it changes the game for me when you are working in an office all day long. Like I've started with a standing desk, but your back gets weak and you need to look after yourself. Now, this is a great way to do that because you sit upright, your head is upright, and it gives your neck a little bit of a workout. It's very good for you to use this for your productivity. But the screen drifts like a bitch. It drives me nuts. And so I stopped using it and I thought I would use it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just have the fixed screen. So the screen moves around with me like this, but it just doesn't work because now you can't, like I said, the edges are not completely crisp. So you look to the edge there to try and see that thing in the corner and you just can't see it and you have to adjust the glasses and eventually to hell with this. And so they have to fix the screen drift. They have kind of mention those things, maybe this will improve, maybe this little camera on the front will do that, but I've seen it once somewhere in their marketing information. And so let's see. And so, I haven't reached out and asked them because I also reached out in the beginning and asked if the Spacewalker app would improve, and they said yes, and it hasn't. So I want to just see, the proof is in the pudding. Are they going to improve these things? Are they not going to improve these things? That being said, okay, that was a real negative rant. But that being said, what are you getting here? These are premium XR glasses. They are expensive, but are they worth it? And I would say they are, because they are beautiful, massive, crisp screens in front of your eyes, 4K-like screens in front of your eyes. I use it all the time. I use it every once a week to twice a week to watch series in bed. I'll keep my side light on very ambient, and I'll rather just put that on, because then I'm not, watching on the iPad. I'm keeping my wife awake. So it is a very nice, discreet media consumption tool. I also often play, like I've also mentioned in my videos, I play Steam Deck or something once a week in bed, which is very bad for you, but I'd spoil myself once a week with that. And this is the way to do it, because it's so relaxing. You put this on your eyes, you lay back, and you play a game. It is like the most relaxing, engaging thing you can do, because everything is just surrounding you, and that the sound is like this little cushion around your ears. It really is a lovely experience. And so while I was harsh about, is this, for instance, I don't really recommend buying the Ultras. The Ultras, buy that when you see it actually working in real life. And hopefully we do, because I think that is, the promise of that is wonderful. The promise of the Ultras is one of the coolest things that I've seen in tech in a while. So if they can get that right, hats off to them. And I will by all means recommend to everyone, if they've got the money, to buy that. But for now, which one should you buy? And I think just buy the lowest spec one. I don't think you're getting a lot for your money as you go up. I think the one major reason to possibly go with the Pros is the fact that this has the little camera in the front, and that may allow us to have that screen drift fixed in the future, and will suddenly make it a productivity tool and not just an entertainment tool. And so possibly that would be a reason to go for the Pros. But if you are just wanting this for entertainment, then just by all means get the Lumas. They are probably one of the best XR glasses on the market right now.